What's up guys, this is Sudoku Warrior back here to bring you another episode of Simple Souls. In today's long-delayed segment, we start making our way towards Gravelord Nito, the possessor of the next Lord Soul that we need to take. The first part of the route to Nito is through the catacombs, an area designed to keep out low-level players from a large segment of the game. Since we're about 4 times the level that is recommended when going through this area, it will be something of a cakewalk. So anyways, fight your way through the graveyard. Down here, just follow the straight line path and kill everything you see. Skeletons are relatively weak. You can see here they don't have very much HP at all, and they're not hard to kill unless you're absolutely awful with parrying. And if you are like me, you can just go backstab them. The skeletons in here are a little bit weaker than the ones actually inside of the catacombs, so if you want to practice anywhere, practice here. Alright, so here we begin our descent. In this area, there's a spiral staircase with a handful of skeletons and a giant bottomless pit out of which exploding heads float. You'll see what all that is in just a second. Basically here, it's not really important to fight anything, just kind of run past it all, and yes, you can get knocked down by those explosions regardless of poise. So sprint past this area. There are a handful of skeletons that will wake up and start chasing you, but you will be outside of their aggro range for the most part if you sprint. You can see the piles of bones merging together there. In here is a necromancer. So, the skeletons in this area don't die when they're killed, they just come back to life, unless you've killed their necromancer, in which case they do die permanently. If you really want to secure this room, you might want to move up that ramp a little bit and kind of wait till the skeletons walk in so you can kill them. But lighting that bonfire and resting resets them. Alright, so first press the switch, which opens a door, which you will see in the next room, that leads to the catacombs. Like any good catacombs, they are indeed infested with traps and skeletons, but we're going to skip most of that today. These two are very easy to slaughter. You can't actually hit them in their getting up animation, so it's kind of a waste of stamina to stand there slashing away at them until they actually stand up. Skeletons out here are more that you should really just ignore, except for the first one you can knock down because he tends to do a rolling attack that staggers you, but that's not really important at all. Alright, run past these guys, continue into this next area, and chase down the necromancer. It's a good idea to sprint and try to ignore as many skeletons as possible, because the necromancer runs away as soon as you get within a certain range, and if you don't want to have to chase him through respawning skeletons, then it's a good idea to just sprint straight to him and kill him as fast as possible. Alright, come back out this way to where you were before, and make sure all the skeletons around this area are cleared. If you've lost a lot of health doing this, go back and rest at the bonfire to replenish your Estus flasks, and head over to this little cliff. Beneath us, you'll see in a moment a small lip of stone. Gently ease yourself off that cliff while spamming the roll button to go backwards onto this larger area of ground. That keeps you from sliding off and falling directly to your death. Down here, you'll see more of those floating, exploding heads and a pair of skeletons. It's best to just sort of wait it out and slaughter the skeletons, even though they'll continue to get back up, until all of the exploding heads are gone, because the blast from the exploding heads kill the skeleton and interrupt what you're trying to accomplish, pretty much wasting all of your damage. And then once you're done waiting for the exploding heads to go by, just slaughter the rest of the skeletons. Use the Asura Straight Sword for this, because since it has the holy damage modifier, you can actually kill the skeletons permanently with it. Using it or the Asura Straight, or the Great Sword of Artorias in its true form, is the only way to properly kill skeletons permanently, short of their necromancer. You can leave them alive if you just want to go quickly to this ledge again, and jump off aiming for a small dot of light below. That small dot of light is a soul item, and if you fall, you'll notice you don't actually land where the item is, you land on a ledge. Ignore that item, ignore that, that's the cleric starting set, and walk over to this ledge. Drop down yet again, and take a sip of Estus. Those two enemies down there have some of the highest damage rating in the game and can kill you faster than most bosses. but they're relatively easy to avoid. Wait till they're charging that cliff wall, jump off, preferably rolling so you have no lag from the fall, and sprint down this passageway. Go zigzag if you hear clanking behind you, because it probably means you're about to die. Since that fog gate does not disappear when you walk through it, you'll be safe as long as you are quick. The boss in this area is Pinwheel, quite possibly the easiest boss in the entire game. He has a pretty cool opening cutscene where he's working on some sort of necromantic body thing, and his room and background music are actually really cool. But apparently the guys from Software decided that they wanted to make a boss that literally a level 5 could steamroll. He will die in about 4 hits to just straight up running in and bashing him. He has no real abilities other than firing slow-moving fireballs at you, which are really easy to dodge, and making copies of himself, which throw weaker slow-moving fireballs at you that are easy to dodge. Ignore anything he spawns because they're just little photocopies of himself, and run up to him and hit him about 4 or 5 times. He dies incredibly quickly. Upon death, he drops one of 3 useful items. He will either drop the Mask of the Mother, the Father, or the Child. The Mask of the Mother increases your HP by 20%, and the Mask of the Child acts like a grass crest shield, increasing your stamina recovery rate. Either of those two are pretty great, so just grab what you can from him, put it on, and drink up. See you guys next time for the Tomb of the Giants. Peace.